months, we've been learning a lot about the Robert Alexander Center for Recovery. And today we're going to learn just a bit more. My guest to my left is Allie Beard. She is the Alumni Director. Allie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Man, I really do find the Robert Alexander Center for Recovery really interesting because it seems like you guys are really results-based.
Yes.
For those who just joined us and they haven't had a chance to kind of check it out or haven't heard past segments, tell us a little bit of an overview of what you guys are all about.
Yeah, well, we're a detox and residential treatment facility for people who struggle with substance abuse.
So why choose the Robert Alexander Center over maybe other rehab facilities? When you articulate that to friends or maybe someone who's visiting, what do you tell them?
I know this is a bold statement, but we have the best staff. Like, everyone is so passionate about what they do. We all have a driven purpose, which is to help you find long-term sobriety. And the love there, we're just different.
You know, I believe that because everyone I've met, Allie, I have to tell you, first of all, they're very informed, very knowledgeable, and they seem to have a compassion. That compassion component, caring about people, that's important, isn't it?
Right, yes, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about what you do. Now, you're the Alumni Director, so it's important to keep in touch with folks. So exactly what do you do? How does it work?
I am the one who gets to be friends with you when you leave the facility. I check in with you weekly. We create events. I just get to be that support system. You know, we're a tight-knit at RAC and with our alumni.
So when you say, you know, you check in with them, okay, I would think part of that is to make sure they're on that road to recovery and they're staying on the path. But then also I think you develop a friendship and a bond. That person may be leaning on you a little bit, and whereas perhaps in some other rehab facilities, they disappear. And therefore, a crack in the armor can happen, correct?
Right, and I think that's what sets us different than most places as well.
So tell me a little bit about all the services that you offer. Now, I know you're in charge of alumni, but for folks who aren't familiar, maybe they've tried other methods. Tell them about the other services that you offer. I know that from talking to other your peers, people who work there at the Robert Alexander Center, they say everything is results-oriented. You know, that we know research-wise this works, and we make sure we stay on that regimen, correct?
Right. We have the best clinical staff that really dive into your core issues of why we self-medicate. You know, so that's the reason, that's the treatment part of it. You know, why do we do these things? What's our triggers? How do we resolve our triggers? And we try to give you the tools to go out into the world and be a completely different person.
Allie, this may sound basic, but so what does, like, detox and treatment? How does it work? How does it start? Because I do think there's a lot of folks out there, now more than ever, as you know better than I do. It's real prevalent, and it's sad. So how does it all start? First of all, I would guess there has to be a willingness on the part of the individual to get treatment. Yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Well, detox is primarily the physical part of it. You know, we have to cleanse you from these toxins, from the alcohol, from the substances. And we have nurses there 24/7 at your need whenever you need something to medically monitor you. And then we go to the residential side, which is more the treatment part of it. That's where we dive into our core issues. Why do we do the things we do, and how do we change this? So. Okay,
as Alumni Director, I'm curious though, when someone is, I don't know if you call it admitted or they accept treatment at the Robert Alexander Center, I don't know how we word this, but when they do, okay, how long is the usual stay? Is it dependent? Is it dependent on the individual?
It's dependent on individual, but we like to see like 21 days. Or more. Okay,
that makes sense to me. Okay, so we're looking at some video here. This is the Robert Alexander Recovery Center, or Center for Recovery. So when this alumni thing that you do, okay, I would think your work would be very rewarding because you see people who probably come in one condition, leave in another, and they actually have something that has been absent in their lives, hope. I mean, they have hope for a better life, and they can accomplish it. They have the tools to accomplish it. Talk about why you love your job.
I love my job because I get to see someone walking in so miserable and then walking out a completely different person. I get to see people reunite with their families, become better mothers, become better employees. I love seeing that. Yeah. It's very, very rewarding.
I bet. And then do you ever, I would think when you have these alumni events, do you do those individually, or do you do events and bring everyone back together?
Well, we have meetings weekly on Sundays, so that's just, you know, an hour chit-chat, and we eat together, you know, and we just, like, spend time together, fellowship. And then we create these big events to where we get to do something fun together, maybe go ride go-karts. We've been canoeing. We do a lot of fun things.
Yeah, I would think when some of these individuals come in, okay, so people always think, okay, very depressing, sad, you've hurt a lot of loved ones, and all of that may be true. With that being said, when they become an alumni, I would think you guys actually get to celebrate successes.
Life.
Yeah.
Celebrate life.
Yeah, and some of the things that maybe these people thought in their former life was impossible.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me a story, and you can change the names to protect the innocent or whatever, as they say. But tell me, maybe you have an individual who's really achieved now at a high level who probably didn't have a lot of hope prior to visiting your center.
Yeah, and some of those people work with us today. You know, and that's so beautiful to see. Some of our alumni come and be employees and then pass on what they've been given. I love seeing that.
I bet.
So that's really cool to see.
So when someone comes into the Robert Alexander Center for Recovery, if they come in and they want to visit, do you recommend that as many family members as possible come in, because they're a big part of that recovery process, right? Family being involved and supporting, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to someone who worked for you guys, and we were talking about the difference between support and enabling.
Right.
Okay, you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
Tell me, how would you articulate the differences between supporting a loved one who has an addiction problem and enabling that person?
I would say, like, support is, yes, I will take you to treatment, but I'm not going to watch you kill yourself. Enabling is, here's $20 that you asked for. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I would define that.
I see. Okay, so if someone wanted to come in and see the center, how does that work? Do you need to set it up by appointment? Maybe somebody's in an emergency situation and they're saying, hey, I need to get help right away for this person because their life is truly in danger. I'm sure that's not all that rare. So how does it work?
You call our admission line and we will get you in. And if it's not with us, we will find you placement. You know, that's something else that makes us different, is we don't turn our back on anybody. Like, any call, we will help you find where you need to go. I
like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of that may be due to the fact, something you alluded to before, Allie, you were saying that a lot of these people have been through it.
Yes.
And if you think that, whether it be, you know, money or whatever the case may be, if you think that's going to stop you from getting better, then you don't need any roadblocks. We'll help you, right?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Let us guide you. Let us help you.
All right.
Today's the day.
I like the sound of that. Tell me a little bit about your story, Allie. You know, we mentioned the fact that you're the Alumni Director, but how did you get involved? What keeps you involved at the Robert Alexander Center?
I just love it there. I love it there. I really do. And I have a lot of experience in this field by my own, by things I've done. So it's really rewarding to work in a field like this. I'm very blessed.
See, obviously you've done very, very well. You mentioned through your own personal experience. I think that's kind of important. You said a lot of the people who have been through the program actually do end up working there. It is kind of important to have been there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can know all the medical jargon and know what works, and that's important as well.
It's just a different connection.
Yeah.
You know, you walk in those doors, I'm already connected to you, even if you don't know it. You know?
Because you've been there.
Because we share. We share something.
Tell me, you know, we talked a little bit about the individuals and how they feel coming out, and that they now have hope, and perhaps they're having the success in life, like you said, enjoying life finally. Tell me about the families. How happy are they when they see a loved one come out of there a totally different person?
Oh, tears. I've seen mothers cry. I've seen it all. It's beautiful.
Okay. And you are, yes, I can envision all of that. Again, the Robert Alexander Center for Recovery. If you've tried other options, if you've tried other rehab centers, we encourage you to give them a call today. It's all very results-based. It's about better outcomes and nice people like Allie Beard. Allie, really, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for having me.
I appreciate you coming on. I can tell you're very sincere and authentic with your compassion. So
thank you. Thank you.
All righty. Coming up here, Kentucky.